combination will be Mayfield Pizzazz. You'd think I'd get it right by now. Mayfield Limelight and the fabulous Kerry Mack, who's only too grateful to be able to help out and be a demonstration horse. And also, as she would tell you, Limelight's got a bit of thoroughbred in him, which she loves because she doesn't have to work too hard. They've got a bit more engine about them, but he's a little bit electric and he needs lots of confidence. So the more of these sort of experience you can get, so I don't hesitate to clap and make a bit of atmosphere, because it's good for our future Grand Prix horses. So without further ado, our Grand Prix horse that we saw compete last weekend and is going to again this weekend, Kerry Mack and Mayfield Limelight. Thanks, Rozzie.
Thanks, Roger. So Kerry actually saw this horse born. So she was there when he was born, and she's produced him through to Grand Prix. Obviously not her first Grand Prix horse, so she's quite familiar with the rocky path through to Grand Prix. This guy is, I think, a wonderful horse, but he's definitely been, he's had his challenges. He's quite sensitive, isn't he, Kerry? And if anything, a little nervous, a little like a thoroughbred. He'll have a little bit of a panic. And one of the issues has been with him is that for some reason the transition at M from collected walk to passage has been a little bit of a mental block with him, and as all of them, there's always something that you say, okay, well, don't ride the test because the horse gets to anticipate. At Grand Prix, you ride the test over and over and over, so the horse knows the test. So it's really important that you actually do ride the test, because they have to know the test but not actually anticipate, and you think anticipation is actually a knowledge of what's about to come. So you have to have that knowledge of what's about to come without the panic that can be associated with extra tension. So with this guy, Kerry has been riding quite a lot, and you can do it as many times as you want, Kerry. This is a great opportunity, is to just walk and just make a transition to trot here. Because what he was doing, he would come through the corner and then panic a bit, and instead of wanting to go to passage, which he obviously knew was coming, but he would get so tense that he would canter, and he would canter, like a tiny little canter, keep cantering and cantering. And so Kerry's just riding these transitions that it's easy. We're trying to teach him. Yes, he's got a passage there, but it's not as enormous as this horse thought that it was. So it's just repetition. And one of the best things that I have ever been told by any coach, and I can't remember whether it was Rudolf Seilinger or whether it was Stefan van Ingelgem, but I was struggling away with the transition to Piaf, and I was riding it over and over, and the coach said to me, Rozzie, you must not ride this transition hundreds of times. And I thought, oh, thank God for that. He's going to give me the secret, and I'm not going to have to do this hundreds of times. And he said, you must ride this thousands of times. So, and that's the reality. It's just repetition, but in this calm way, and trying to set the horse up for success, not set the horse up for failure. So how do we get this concept through to him that this is not as momentous as he thinks it is? So we just do these transitions, and Kerry will do them as many times as she feels he needs, and that's good. He's starting to just walk, calmly walk, and to trot. Good boy. Well done. And if you have to do that another 10 times before you feel that you need to go to passage, then that's what you do. You always give the horse time. I think probably the older I get and the less time I have, the more time I realize that you need to give the horse. Good. Good boy. And you can see he's on the job. He knows, oh, it's all right, mate. You're all right. You're all right. Good. Yeah, yeah. So here, Kerry's just doing little transitions from trot to passage, just making it that the horse reacts in the way that she wants. And here he comes into his passage. And Kerry was wanting to make this passage less modest. At the moment it's a little modest, and I would say, whilst ever he's still a little nervous of it, stick to even and modest rather than go at him too much. As he grows in confidence, you'll be able to make the passage more expressive. But you don't want to go for amazing passage and then find that you've blown his brains again. Yeah, good boy. Do you want to try a walk passage Piaf? If you don't want to, that's fine. Say again? Oh, okay. Well, no, just keep going then. So, yeah, so here we just go from trot and into passage. Good. Yeah. And it's very even, and yes, there's more in there, but he makes a good transition into a little bit forward Piaf. And at this stage, if you have to, you as a rider have to feel, do I need to keep it a little forward? And there he comes on the spot. Good boy. Good boy. Very nice. Very nice, and out into the passage. But as a rider, you need to feel if you need to keep it a little more forward and it's a bit dangerous to close it up too much, then you keep it forward. Better than the horse getting confused or coming too much behind you. When I remember when Stefan Peters had Ravel in Hong Kong, and I think he got the bronze medal in Hong Kong, but I remember him saying to me, oh, the judges want to see the Piaf. Lovely, Kerry, well done. Well done. The judges want to see my Piaf more on the spot, but I just can't do it at the moment. You just go, okay, well, that was good enough for him. So you at this stage, it's really important that you don't force this. This has got to be something that the horse really completely understands, especially a little sensitive guy like this one. Well done. That was a good Piaf in the middle there, Kerry. And you can see all Kerry's doing here is just playing, as Mary said yesterday, playing with the reactions, playing with the Piaf, playing with the passage, now playing with a bit of extended trot, and then back basically into your passage, and then going again. And you can see he's super responsive and super happy to have a go at it. Good. Good. Keep the tempo. Tempo, tempo, tempo. Good boy. Yeah, well done, Kerry. Good. Good. And yes, at the moment, this is not super explosive, but the more confident the horse becomes, the more that you can put more activity in. So it takes a long time, I think, for a horse to understand that you give a little extra kick in the Piaf for more energy. Of course, they want to go faster. So it's like we said, we have decided that we need to to actually slow the speed we're covering the ground, but maintain the activity. And that's an illogical thing to do. So it takes a long time for a horse to grasp this concept that you give them, you ask for a little more activity in the Piaf. Soft rein. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Let it come a little forward now. Well done. You asking for more activity in the Piaf rather than acceleration. Good. Well done. Good boy. Just watch his neck. Let his neck a little out if you can. That's it. Massage, little more. Steady, steady. And you can see there's degrees in there. This is all about a little world of him understanding all the degrees that are involved in this. And there's worlds in that transition from Piaf to Passage that the horse and the rider have to start to really understand. And often you'll see a horse struggle with, say, the transition out of the Piaf into Passage, and there it's just a little world that just because the rider or the horse can't see it yet doesn't mean it's not there. And so you live in this sort of twilight world of transitions between Piaf, Passage, Trot, and he's starting to become really confident in it. Ideally, I'd like to see the neck just out of fraction. Yeah. That's it. That's it. And then walk. Good. Good boy. That's good. You happy with that? Yep. Do you want to make another transition walk Passage or not? Yeah. I would if I were you. I can't hear you. Sorry. No. You do what's right for him. He's got to do the test tomorrow, so it's not what I want, it's what he needs. Soft rein. Yeah, go on, let him go. Let him come forward. That's it. He actually took a super step there. Yeah, and it's so fine. Like that much is too much and that much is too little. Good. And then you're to your Piaf. Good. Good. Well done, Kerry. Good work. And Passage. Well done. Good boy. It's a wonderful horse. Just give him time to get this sorted out. Keep Passage. Keep him Passage. Go on, let him Passage. Soft rein. Keep Passaging. Don't go to Piaf. Go just Passage. That's it. That's it. There you go. Let him Passage. Give him a little bit of rein. Yeah, just a little. It's tiny. And you go sometimes, oh God, that's too much, and then that's too little. Yeah. Good boy. And let him walk. Well done. Good boy.
Rozzie, just a quick question. And for Kerry, I mean, everyone interested, there must be a little trick that you do or riders do, or there's some to put them in the mood for that transition to Passage. Is there something that when you ride that corner before Passage that you do that Jarrah knows that it's a transition, or that we can...
He knows. It so depends on the horse. So with Jarrah, who's probably maybe a little hotter than he looks, he knows the transition is coming there, and I have to be really careful with, as Kerry always says, they read your call. So I have to be really careful that I am not coming through the corner going, oh, it's Passage, and I have to wait with him.
So with the lazy one, and you've had plenty of those.
With a lazy one, I will tend to ride the walk and come through the corner thinking, hey, come on, wake up, and take the rhythm off the outside shoulder. So you're coming through, you're walking through here, you're in collected walk, I'm keeping my eye on M, and on the lazy one, I'll sort of almost be thinking trot, but wake up a little bit, and you're thinking somewhere between Piaf and trot, because you don't want a Piaf, you don't want to trot, you don't want to canter, you want to make, the judges want to see and hear and passage. And honestly, Roger, I probably don't overthink it. I ride it a lot. So just like Kerry has ridden it there, until it becomes almost a subconscious. I don't have I remember Anne always used to say, and it's this on this outside rein and with the inside leg and the outside rein. I just go, oh, I can't think of it like that. I'll just ride it until it feels like the horse goes, yep, I've got it. It's so subtle and such a personal thing with each horse that you actually, that's why I like to ride that transition. Excellent taught me that, because he was such a hot horse, and I used to ride that transition over and over and over with him until he would walk, and then he'd go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to passage here, so off we go into passage. So I like to do it like that, so that they know what's coming.
So it's a little bit of their anticipation. If you'd be able to say, not quite yet, but I know what you're thinking, but just wait a little bit.
Yeah. And I think that's when you say anticipation is about knowledge. Like they know something is coming, but they're just waiting. They're going, yeah, I know it's coming. And you just wait. And then sometimes it's a wing and a prayer and a hope. But yeah, that's it. I don't know. What about you, Kerry? Kerry has a bit more of a system, I think.
She doesn't just do it.
I overthink everything. And this horse has taught me to be more sensitive, and he needs preparation. And so I found that with him, when I turn the corner and I start to be on the correct diagonal. Now, what that means is that if you're on the correct diagonal trotting, of course, your seat's a little bit lighter as this shoulder goes forward, and it's a bit heavier. And as you're heavier, then as you're lighter, actually, your legs squeeze a little bit. So it's like I get my aids in time. So as this shoulder moves forward at the walk, I rise a tiny bit. Like, it's not rising, but I lighten that, just to give him the idea that there's going to be a trot transition coming up. It's not canter. So I start to put the aids in a very soft way before I actually do the transition, so that he understands. He's not very bright, and he needs warning about what's coming up. But he's not very bright, but he's very sensitive. So I found that really helps him, just to kind of go, actually, my body's almost trotting here. And he goes, oh, your body's almost trotting here.
Thank you, that was great. It was interesting information.
That was Chris Bartle always used to say that you'd take the rhythm off the outside shoulders, which is pretty much what you're talking about. So as the outside foreleg comes forward, you're thinking and come up into passage.
I have to say something funny about Christopher Bartle, who's just the most fantastic. He's giving me a lesson. This is a long time ago, and this woman came in, and she was like me, an average, okay rider, but there were lots of little things you think you could do, like going on the beat or being around. And he said, asked her what she wanted to do. He said, well, I'd really like to work on my Piaf. And he looked and thought, oh, this is going to be a bit tricky. So he said, do you have some friends and that you can go trail riding? And he said, yes. He said, well, look, go for a nice trail ride, get nice and relaxed, and then when you get to the end of the road or wherever you go, turn around and get all your friends to trot off down the ride, and then you just try and stay there. I'll never forget that as long as I live. Sorry about that, I just had to say something funny.
He actually said that that's the way he taught Wiley Trout to Piaf. Yeah, out on the Yorkshire moors. Yeah, everyone else gallops off and horses. like Totalus. Oh, is it? What else would you like to do, Kerry? Are you happy? I think probably we're pretty much out of time. Does anyone else want to see anything else? Do you? Any questions on that?
I just wanted to, this is back from the previous example about the flying changes and sorting out late changes and how you, if you start training changes and they get late behind all the time.
About flying changes, going back to the last lesson, and about flying changes that are often late behind one stride. How, is there an exercise that comes to mind that you think that might be helpful for that?
Yeah, for sure. Because we're often sent exactly that problem. I think when you first start the flying changes, it's probably really helpful to have somebody that's watching that really knows whether they're late. Because sometimes you'll get a horse that it'll come and people say, oh, I'm doing the flying changes, and then they show them and you go, that's okay, but they're all late. And they have no idea that they're all late. So it is important, you know, if the horse, when you start off and it does the odd late flying change, you could go, well, that's fairly normal. But it's not something that's really a good idea to do over and over and over. But that exercise of the little bit of counterflexion and jumping the hind leg, so we do that a lot. You're in canter on a 20-meter circle and taking a little bit of a counterflexion and then jumping the horse off the outside leg. Not so that it just sort of canters like that, but it actually jumps across like that. That for me is one of the first things that you do, so that when you put your leg on, the horse actually jumps from the leg. And instead of jumping forward, I like to do a little bit of the lateral work, because it gives a tangible direction for the energy to go. You know, when we're all told to, and I try and do it now, and now Jara understands. I can go forward and collect and say, come on, come on. But when you first start that, when you go forward and then you collect and you put the leg on and say, no, a bit more activity, just like the Piaf, naturally a horse wants to accelerate again. So how do you get this concept across that you're increasing activity but you're not accelerating? So with a horse that's late, I want that in the canter, because you want a jumpier canter. You need a little bit more of a moment of suspension, and you need the horse really thinking about the hind legs. So I will tend to not ride the flying changes harder. I'll ride them shorter, if anything. So I don't care if you're into a little jumpy canter like this, and the hind leg only goes like that, or even jumps together. But you don't want a flying change that goes like that and then like that. So you're looking really to only be thinking about the hind legs. And so I will tend to then go for a super jumpy canter and still do it the same way that we did to start with Serena's horse. Or quite often, strangely, with the horses that are late behind, we will do flying change on a 20-meter circle to counter-canter, not from counter-canter to true canter. I don't know particularly why it works, but to me that works. I think it's because you have to work so hard to set up the flying change. So here you are in left canter coming around on the circle, and you have to work hard to get the horse set up for the flying change, and I'll try that. I've seen exercises that people do, and I'm not sure that it always works. I think what really works is making the canter jumpy, and the rider and the horse to understand that you know, the leg goes on, the horse jumps. There's some reaction from the hind legs.
Thank you. That's great. Another funny comment was, I was watching someone helping with flying change the other day, and they didn't want to upset the rider and say, no, it's late. So they said, oh, it's a bit late, and came alongside and pulled up and said, that's like saying I'm a bit pregnant.
Yeah.
It's either late or it's not.
Yeah. Yes, when people say, oh, my horse is a bit late, you basically with a flying change, he's either late, he could change together, which is at least a start, he could change short, or he could change properly. And you know, you need somebody watching that understands the difference. That's a late change. That change together behind. That was a short change. That was a good clean change. But making the canter jumpy. I think what happens when people start the flying changes, of course they want a beautiful smooth flying change like Serena did. The reality of it is that doesn't happen. Sometimes you have to actually disturb the canter to make clean changes, and it feels worse. And if you try for that really, really soft change, and really when the horse is starting out, that if it's really, really soft and the horse doesn't naturally change clean, then you get late changes because you've tried so hard not to upset it. And I think that often that is when the late changes happen. Sometimes you've actually got to disturb the canter and make it a bit jumpier for the horse to go, oh, really? I've got to do that? Yes, it's got to be that.
Yeah, it's like the hot horses that are really quick and active can jump around and change their legs much quicker than those doughy, slow ones.
Yeah. Does anybody want to see anything more? So thank you, Kerry, very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kerry and Mayfield Limelight.
If you want to stay in and work in more, that's fine. I think we're done now. That's super. Thanks a lot. It's good.
And
really
good luck on the weekend. We'll be all watching. After your position yesterday and a bit of Piaf passage training today, it'll be absolutely all on for young.
He's good. Oh, super.
So on behalf of New South Wales and the fabulous committee that have put all this together, and the funding from New South Wales, and the integration of judges, riders and coaches, and a spectacular place like this, it's really a very special day, and we really thank you all for your attendance and coming down, and I'm sure it was a great learning experience for everyone, not only you guys out there, but also for us out here. So thank you very much indeed, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, of course, to Rozzie.